Hello and welcome to the cryptocurrency news channel. I know Bitcoin is down right now and people are freaking out and afraid. The dollar index is going really, really high, and which could indicate a recession. And of course, the stock market is actually down quite a bit today. But I want to talk about why we can actually have a bounce back later this week. I'm talking Thursday or Friday. First of all, the futures actually expires Friday, and usually leading up to the futures expiry, usually the market does go down, and after that, it does come back up a little bit. But aside from that, one of the main reasons that the market has actually gone down today is because of the Netflix report. Because the Netflix affects the Nasdaq more than anything else, and crypto reflects the Nasdaq more than the other indexes. But here's the thing: Netflix is a bellwether stock, which means it's an indicator signal, basically for the entire market. Now, I think this is bad and needs to stop being an indicator signal because Netflix is going down, not because the market is bad. I mean, it is, but that's not the main reason. Netflix is going down because of two. One, COVID is over. Well, not really over, but like the restrictions are easing everywhere besides China. And because restrictions are easing everywhere besides China, people aren't staying indoors and watching Netflix as much. But most of all, it's getting its ass kicked by other services, whether it's YouTube Red, Hulu, Disney Plus, Discovery Plus, or whatever else it is right now. So because Netflix doesn't have as many shows, it's not generally as good as those other services. People are leaving Netflix for those other subscriber services. So I don't think it should be counted as a bellwether stock anymore because it's basically essentially losing to competition and not so much the economy. It should not be dragging the rest of the companies down with it or the stock index with it because it's not representative of what's actually going on out there. Now, the overall economic situation isn't good, obviously, but it should not be as bad as Netflix actually paints it. And the reason why I do believe that there could be a revival later on this week, Thursday and Friday, is because some of the earnings reports for other bigger companies are actually coming out. And when people actually see that those earning numbers may not be as bad as Netflix, we could actually have a bit of a bounce up. Now, it won't be like a gigantic bounce up. Bitcoin could go past 40,000 again, obviously. I mean, despite all this drop, realistically, from like last week, we only dropped like 1,500 points from like the end of last week. So it's really not that big, and we could easily go back above 40K again in the near future if the earnings reports for like Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Alphabet are good. Now, I do expect the Facebook ones not to be so great because Facebook has been kind of bleeding lately. I guess like if you count Instagram and stuff, it could be okay. But the thing is, like for Microsoft and Alphabet and others, like Tesla was actually quite good. For like Microsoft and Alphabet, I don't really expect them to be that bad. And if those earnings are pretty moderate, I do actually think the market will bounce because people will be like, oh, well, tech isn't really suffering. It's just Netflix and maybe Facebook because Facebook is having trouble with the younger demographic. But of course, like you have Instagram, which is definitely growing, and that Facebook actually owns Instagram and Messenger as well. So it's very, very hard to tell right now, but I do believe there's a high chance that crypto does rebound a little bit at the end of this week, probably pretty close to where we were at the end of last week. So I would expect high 39s, 40,000 again by the end of this week because of that particular reason. Because the Netflix thing is completely unwarranted, and no one should really give two craps about if Netflix does good or not, because Netflix, like I said, is getting its ass kicked by competition and not by the market itself. So the market should not reflect Netflix, but unfortunately, because it is still a bellwether stock, the market does actually reflect Netflix. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.